Hello and good evening to our podcast, Pod 4. I'm Drew, also known as GSG.
Hi, I'm Alex.
And we've also got our special guests on if you want to introduce yourselves.
I'm Andy. I'm part of the November Foxtrot team.
I'm Mike. I'm also part of the November Foxtrot team. Sorry, it's weird. I normally go before Andy. It's strange being this way around.
I like it.
So before we get cracking with you guys, just a couple of things I want to mention. First one being that if you're not able to watch us live for any reason, we are now actually on Spotify. So if you type in UK Airsoft Ladies, you'll be able to find our stream on there. And second thing we'd like to mention this evening is that the Airsoft International magazine, the new edition, was out today. That would be volume 19, issue 8. And in this edition, you'll be able to find meet the co-founders of UKAL. So myself and Alex have done a little article sort of explaining our backgrounds and a bit how UKAL came about as well. So if you fancy checking that out, definitely do. So to crack on with this evening, we've invited the guys from November Foxtrot, though they have a podcast. You guys do it weekly, don't you, on a Wednesday?
Yep.
We do, yep.
And your main business, so to speak, is milsims. So we thought we would...
We try to.
So we thought we'd try and mix it up a little bit and actually have a podcast with you guys on, because you actually invited us on for a podcast. I can't remember how long ago it was now.
Yours was
a while ago.
Over 3 years ago, I think.
Oh yeah, before UKAL, yeah. I was on 3 years ago today exactly. You interviewed me. But yeah, so we appreciate having you on the show, and I hope you're ready for some questions.
So
That's right, thank you for having us.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to being the other end of it, to be honest.
We'll go easy on you.
That's right.
So we can. If anyone's got any questions that they want to ask these guys or us, please comment in the comment section, and we will get through them as we can. So already we've had quite a few people say evening. So we've had Ashley and Greg, Edward, Philip. Edward said, "Why are you talking to these pesky skirmisher guys?"
He hangs around our podcast as well. He's
Yeah. Can't get
if only he had a YouTube channel of his own.
So I'll get cracking with the first question I want to chuck at you guys. Not so much milsim based, but how long have you been playing airsoft?
Well, Andy.
So I've been playing airsoft for coming up to 11 years now. So next year will be my 11th year, so 10 at the moment.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm pretty much the same. I started back in 2013. Yeah, I think it was I'm yet to find anyone else that has ever played at the the famous shop that nobody ever buys airsoft guns from, because they're all two-tone plastic stuff. I'm not going to name the shop, but they used to have a site, and I was the only one, I believe, that I found that had ever played there, and I actually had my first UKAL number there as well. I was, I won't say the name of the shop, but I was that 0001. So yeah, back in the days.
Not doing yourself.
You're just playing around in the field by yourself.
It was a tiny, tiny little site.
So, why do you prefer milsims over skirmish then?
Let you go first, tonight.
I mean, for me, I like milsims because they're a little bit more slower paced, and it's the storyline. I've always liked dressing up and like playing a character and kind of doing anything but my normal life. I mean, airsoft is that anyway. Like, we run around the woods, we get dressed up in various camouflage kit, and we go and pretend to be effectively soldiers in the woods. That's ultimately what we're doing. But with Milsim, I think you get a little bit more flexibility to do other things. So, I mean, I sent you a photo earlier. I don't know if you've got it, but there was one particular event where I wasn't able actually to attend the event as a whole. So I went as a press officer. And I got super into all the setup for that. I had like a sneaky little pistol hidden away. I had the blue Osprey vest on. I went to the effort of making a fake passport for my character, like travel documents and all of that. And it's that sort of immersion that I really like as a player. And I was, I like trying to do that for other people as well. So when people were searching me, they were actually finding travel documents with my name on, like the MOD letter that said I could be in the area, and stuff like that. So that for me is Milsim. It's not so much. I don't play airsoft because I want to shoot people. Funnily enough, I play because I want to run around, role play a bit, and kind of do a bit of the shooty. But I like working as a team and the tactics and kind of problem solving, and that side of things really.
That's a good explanation. I like that, to be fair.
It's pretty much the same for me.
You can't just copy and paste.
I moved over from a reenactment, World War II reenactment group that I'd done for 10 years. So there was a lot of structure to that. Started skirmishing and then pretty much almost straight away moved over to Milsims because I liked the team style of play. Although you're put into teams for a skirmish, you are pretty much on your own unless you go with a group of friends, I think. And working with other sections and actually getting to have objectives and things instead of just capture the flag and things like that, I find a lot more enjoyable. And it also gives me an excuse to buy some Gucci kit for no reason, just spend a bit of money.
To be fair, as I say, I think I've told you guys before, I've always wanted to try Milsims and that, but I think it's just the duration of it. I don't think I'd be able to do. Everything else sounds right up my street, problem solving tactics and that, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, with the duration, I would say that you're probably active on a Milsim. It depends on the event, but for the majority of a task force based event, you're probably active for about half of it. So it's not quite as long as people think. I mean, if anyone's ever done Octo 8's a really good example from Gunman. So they do their 8-hour games and then you stop for the evening. It's kind of like that, but throughout the 24-hour period, it's not 8 hours and then you stop and then have a break. But usually the bleed out time's sort of 15 minutes. Your respawn time's potentially about an hour. So you can go back, you can get some sort of downtime. You may have a period where you're defending a position as a team, so you can get some downtime with that with your team as well. I always liken it to spending a weekend with your mates in the woods with the occasional risk of being shot at. That's it for me. It's just camping with guns.
Yeah.
No, I'll definitely have to give it a go. Alex, you've done Milsims, haven't you?
Yeah, I've loved it. Definitely loved it. It was really good. And then I'm at the Defiant event this weekend for Raid. So that'd be interesting.
That.
But I'm still going.
You did our intro into Milsim event as well. That you run this year for the first time.
How do you think your intro to Milsim event went?
Stressful. I have a lot more respect for the people that organise events. I said this to James from Defiant and Tony from Rift Airsoft, and I said, wow. I said, we only had, how many people did we have? 30 in total?
Less than that, I think it was about 25.
Yeah, 25 people, and it was stressful making sure that everyone was happy and stuff. So a lot of respect to the guys that actually run the events on a regular basis.
It did look really.
I thought it went really well, but
I was stressed. Well,
yeah. I mean, we managed to get done what we wanted to get done, which was some actual, qualified people talking about stuff that they know a lot more about than we do. The opportunity to test out some new skills, learn some other stuff, run around in the woods, watch people not being able to read, the map that we didn't give them. There were some learning points that we will pick up on in future. But yeah, I mean, as a whole, like, it was a good laugh. I enjoyed it as an event organizer. Having never done anything like that before, I was anticipating it falling apart a lot quicker than it didn't seem to do.
No, it didn't seem to fall apart. And I think we managed to get some good training sessions in. That's something that other training organisers don't tend to do. So we had trench clearing, which is something that I've never seen done for an airsoft training event or anything at all. And you came back with a big massive smile on your face after that one, didn't you, Alex? It was brilliant. But at the end of the day, that's what it was all about, just making sure that everyone had a smile on their face at the end of the day.
Are you guys doing another one then?
Yeah.
That's the plan. So we have a long-term ambition of creating something called Millfest, which we really need to change the name of.
Yeah, it's not.
But that's the goal, is to kind of try to create a kind of, I guess, a Milsim-esque event with the intention that new players can easily just drop in and have a go. So rather than sort of just going absolute to the wall, we're going to go to Stirling, I'm going to learn the hard way, go in the deep end, and all that. The idea being that we could have some people there who are inexperienced. We've got people there that are, play a little bit more, but they still get the same level of stuff from that event. Maybe different things, but ultimately we still do some bits and pieces. So some training, almost like a battle sim type scenario, something like that. If we could get vehicles, if we could pick a big site. The fundamental problem that we have is that we don't make any money. It costs us a lot to run the podcast every year, so we're quite reliant on our supporters, basically. We don't have the money for insurance, so we can't just go out and just run an event. It costs a lot of money, apparently, to do things like that. So we are heavily reliant on our friends in the industry, so sort of various events companies and the like sort of helping us out. So hopefully there's something in the pipework, but at the moment we're planning to do something again in 2024. Might not be our end aspiration yet. Maybe that's 2025, who knows? I don't even know if the podcast is going to make it into the end of 2024, so we'll wait and see.
What about teaming up with Johnny Big Gun lad? Is anything going to collab up together?
So me personally speaking, if any of them are listening, I would love to do a collab event. But I feel they have a lot more experience than we do. But yeah, I would love, personally speaking, I would love to run a joint event with Johnny Big Gun, 100%.
Nice.
We have vaguely discussed it, and I think we came to the conclusion that Johnny Big Gun would be running the event, and we'd be sort of standing in the corner, kind of cheerleading, it's great, we're here as well. I mean, we're quite keen to. It's hard because we don't want to tie ourselves down to any one particular group. We've set November Foxtrot up on the premise of it being as unbiased as possible, and that's one of the reasons that we don't have any money. In that, ultimately, we don't get sponsored. We're very actively not getting sponsored. We're trying to avoid any adverts. We're trying to avoid the absolute classic of, I want to tell you about this product because it's, I'm being paid some money to tell you about it. Yeah. So everything we talk about is all stuff that we've bought and then possibly returned if it's CAC. So that's part of the issue. So, but we don't want to kind of look like we're just advertising one company. So we do a lot of stuff with lots of different people. And if anyone wants to do anything with us, give us a shout out and we can maybe do something with you. That's a really open-ended thing. Airsoft related. Yeah.
We're always looking for guests and topics as well that we discuss weekly. So if anyone's got any ideas, sensible ideas, airsoft related.
That's one thing I find difficult. Because even just running fortnightly podcasts is hard enough in terms of coming up with content and guests and that sort of thing. So you guys doing it on the weekly, hats off to you.
We managed to go a whole hour and a half on hydration, and we've done 2 episodes on that one. So. There was a whole 20-minute segment on what colour should your pee be.
So what made you want to start your podcast?
I'll fill this one because Andy sort of joined at a slightly later date. But so obviously COVID hit. We can't go out airsofting anymore. We're all stuck inside, but we needed some outlet. The original intention was there was 4 of us that kind of got together and we said, look, let's do some joint promotional stuff through Instagram. We all had Instagram accounts. We wanted to kind of build up the followers a little bit on that. We're all aspirational, slightly, egotistical, like, we want to boost our Instagrams. Lance suggested the idea of we do a podcast. I grimaced because I thought that sounds like a lot of work. But we went with it. We kind of just had a go. And it's rolled from there really. I think we've been running pretty much non-stop since we started in 2020. Yeah. October 2020, pretty much. Yeah. Every Wednesday.
COVID, wasn't it?
Yep. Andy, you obviously joined at a later date. So what enticed you to our show?
I got tricked. So I came on as a guest. Actually, it was my first outing because I've always used even in my reenactment career, I was always a support gunner. So I've got quite obviously I've never put it into combat sort of situations, but I've learned a lot over the years on support. So I came on as a guest, and then a couple of weeks later they messaged me and said, "How do you fancy coming on as another host?" And I said, "Well, we'll see how it goes," and I'm still seeing how it goes.
That's not what he said. He said, "Yeah, please, I'd love it."
Yeah, make me famous, I said. But yeah, then I've been going ever since.
That's good, guys. So you've got a big charity episode coming up next month. How did you come up with that idea? Where did the thoughts all come from? Everything.
So right, well that's a loaded question. So we have a thing called a COB, probably once every month, which is basically a chat about BS. Mm-hmm. And
it's called the Conference of BS, basically. Yeah. That's why it's called the COB.
And who came up? I think it was you, wasn't it?
Yeah, I come up with lots of crazy ideas and went, would it be cool to do a 24-hour show? And then Andy's organising it. So
yeah, so I got lumbered with that one. So on the 2nd of December at 9:00, we're running all the way through for 24 hours until the Sunday. We've got some really good guests lined up. We've got some raffles. We've got some quizzes. What else have we got?
Anything.
We've got we've got an hour segment of Lance putting a cot bed together, so that should be good. I know he's listening as well, so.
Yeah. So we're going to have some NoFo science as well, which will be us individually doing some science activities in our science coats, which we don't normally get to do. And it'll just be 24 hours of 3 idiots chatting, basically.
So, for those who don't know when and what it's for, etc., drop the details.
There you go. I'll let you, Mike do that one.
Oh, you cheeky! It's the so we're starting on the Saturday, the 2nd of December. It's starting at 9:00, and we're running until 9:00 on the Sunday. So, full 24 hours. It's for a charity called Jigsaw, who do a lot of work with sort of children who are in a pretty rough situation, so to orphans and things like that. We're hoping to raise some money for that. We're going to have a live GoFundMe page going on at the same time. We are in the process of trying to potentially get some adverts going as well. So if anybody wants to advertise, the idea being is that you would pay a little bit of money to advertise on the 24-hour show, and that money again goes into the charity pot. And hopefully we're just trying to make it a fun activity. I can't say how long we're all going to stay awake for, because I feel that after an hour and a half, we all feel fairly tired, and it starts getting a little bit wafty in terms of the conversation. So, by hour 3, I'm anticipating we're going to be deviating massively.
There's
we are
be
going
some
to
ups and downs, definitely.
Yeah, we're stepping up our game a little bit. We're going to have an actual production team with us as well. We're all going to camp over at Andy's house and build like a little in-house studio. So we'll all be in the same place. We're going to be doing some stuff outside. We've got some stuff inside. We've got multiple cameras. So it should be quite interesting. If only from the prospect, it all could go horribly wrong. But yeah, I mean, the idea is if you're around at any point, we'll have like a charity thing that you can donate money to as well. Anything you can raise or offer would be greatly appreciated. So we're not making any money from it at all. If anything, it's costing us money because we're having to buy. Andy's got to be buying foreign ration packs to have a go at trying various different things, which are very expensive and hard to get hold of.
Blindfolded, taste tested, and guess what it is?
You could do. One of the ration packs was tuna and peas in a tin, which I don't like tuna, so I don't want to go down that route. I think I'd rather see what I'm eating. But to be fair, most ration pack meals are. Oh, the Chinese one was fermented quail eggs or something like that.
Quail egg, no.
So yeah. I don't want to do that blindfolded, but yeah, it should be fun. Say if anyone wants to drop in, come say hello. Virtually, then please feel free to do so.
We've had a few comments while we've been chatting about it. So Lance has joined on the comments. He says, "Oi, oi."
Hello, Lance.
Edward said, "So Andy got to host because he's an LMG gunner. I think you need a sniper now." Philip said, "What was a lineup?" But you did mention that. Ashley said constant energy drink and coffee on the go.
Yeah.
Philip said it's actually going to be a 1-hour podcast and 23 hours of the boys sleeping.
Yeah, we didn't say we'd stay awake.
Yeah, the stream's going to be running for 24 hours.
But no, that all sounds really good, to be fair. I did a 24-hour pool charity thing many years ago when I was a lot younger. And I even struggled for that. Like, I think I fell asleep early hours in the morning. So, yeah, good luck with that one.
Yes. Well, hopefully everyone will pop in and say hello to keep us going.
The original idea was 48 hours, by the way, because I was trying to replicate. We do 48-hour events. That was the idea. So, for the length of a 48-hour meal sim, we thought we could do a 48-hour podcast. I was beaten down to 24, so I think hopefully we should be okay because that should be a reasonable length of time.
Yeah, I think that's definitely gone in your favour. 24 hours over 48. I don't know what would be more stressful, you doing that or our charity game we did this year.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
To be fair, that I think if your event, you had so much success with that, and I have to say I'm pretty gutted I wasn't able to make it. But any event organisers just get hands down the most praise ever because it is so hard. Like people are like cats. You go right, just stand there, and you turn around and you turn back, and they've just gone. So
yeah, I can relate to that definitely, 100%.
I never do that.
Where were we at? So there you are. What advice would you give for someone wanting to start milsims?
Do it. Literally, just go along, and everyone has this idea that milsimmers are elitist. They're not. That you get the odd one, but you get that in every single hobby or sport. There's always someone that has the £6,000 pool cue or the £400 darts. It's not. There's always going to be one person in probably 30-40 people that might be a bit elitist, but as long as you've got the basic kit to have a good sleep and be out in the field, just go along. And learn from the guys that have been doing it for a long time. Don't be worried about people being elitist because a lot of organisers, especially in the milsim community now, have started to crack down on it. And if you do get someone being a bit of a what should we say, an elite, tell the organiser, and they're normally shunned pretty quickly. But just go along and enjoy it. There's nothing to worry about. At the end of the day, if you start failing or start flagging towards the evening, have a kit, take yourself out of it. It's no one's gonna think any less of you or it at all. As long as you just make sure that your kit's right. And most people that play skirmishes anyway have decent kit. You just got to make sure that your kit's good enough for which faction you're doing. I would say if you're going to start it out, first of all, probably go for Op4, because it's jeans and a jumper and a weapon, and you tend to just tear around the field, annoying task force, which is hilarious. If you've got all your camo stand-up kit, go for Op4. It's a fun learning curve.
Definitely.
I think following on from that, I would, rather than give different advice, because I wholly agree with what Andy's just said, I'd pick an event in the summer, because you're less likely to die at night from the cold. I would suggest you don't have to go with anyone. I mean, this seems to be a massive misnomer within airsoft as a whole. Like, I can't go today because no one's coming with me. Just go and enjoy it yourself. You know, tell the event organizer that you are on your Todd, and then if the event organizer is worth their salt, they will put you with a good team who will look after you. Especially if you tell them you've never been before as well. But I would suggest trying to find an event in the summer, and I would look at possibly not the kind of there's kind of different levels of event, as with skirmishing and stuff like that. I wouldn't go to an event where you're going to be, you know, backpacking the whole time, out of a basher, and struggling. You might want to look at something like Octo 8, as I mentioned earlier. They kind of do a game throughout the day, and then you stop and then continue it the next day. Events like Defiant are quite good. Again, you know, having known the guys, and you had them on the show the other day, they'll look after you. You know, Op4 Defiant events, it's just good fun. You just go and annoy task force. We won't go on to the DEA one because I know. But yeah, just have a go at it, because it's not elitist, and it is quite good fun. The only thing I would say is don't rock up to a milsim expecting to be skirmishing. We've done events where we have fired 5 shots in a 36-hour period. You know, you can go to a milsim event and it's not shooty. There are some events which are, you know, you're going to be up against rebel forces who are constantly having a go at you, and you're going to be struggling with that. But just try and go with the flow of it a little bit. Don't just shoot everything that rocks up around the corner, because potentially they could be civilians, they could be, I don't know, some guy selling goats, they could be the local priest. You don't know who they're going to be, basically. So, yeah, it's good fun. Just have a go.
What's been your favourite moment you've encountered in airsoft, and your most embarrassing moment in airsoft? Peace and pit.
Mine's the DEA moment. So we did Red Tide 3 with Defiant. One of the taskings, Andy and I were there as sort of helping out with the DS team. We were tasked with getting arrested. So it first off took task force maybe about 2 hours to actually get into the building that we were in so they could arrest us. Even though we had to, because there weren't enough of them, and we had too many good guys with us protecting us. But we got taken to the police cell, and we were there for 3 hours.
Yeah, 3-4 hours it was.
Yeah, I didn't stop talking that whole period of time. I started, because I was told to be a pain, so I was a pain to the police force. I started a one-man prison gang because Andy didn't want to join, so it was just me. We had a committee meeting. I found some random props, so I overdosed a couple times in the police cell. I managed to barricade myself in one of the police cells, so they had to storm in and come and get me. They were using silly string as like tear gas, pepper spray. I got so much silly string over me because at one point I stole the gun off one of the officers. They shot me, and then they realised they had to medic me back in because they weren't meant to have killed me. So that was fun because I was sort of just resisting healing. Honestly, it was just the best time. and then I had to go and have a sleep because I got really tired.
Yeah. The best bit for that was when Alex rocked up round the corner as our lawyer.
Yes.
I was like, well, that's a surprise.
What about you, Andy?
I think probably one of my best bits. There's so many. I think it's going to be another Defiant event when it was me, Mike, and Lance on a DEA, and we had to evac the chopper pilot that got shot down, and as we were bringing the chopper pilot back, we came into contact, and Mike out of nowhere screamed, "Defend the pilot," and just laid over the top of him.
To be fair, we were being shot at. That wasn't out of nowhere.
But we were all shooting back, and then all of a sudden Mike just turned around and just gone and laid over him.
Oh god, no, that doesn't sound good. Go on, Alex. What was yours?
What favourite? No, gonna ask the lads. What's the most embarrassing moment?
Oh yeah.
I don't know. I don't think I've ever. I embarrass very difficultly. It's difficult for me to be embarrassed.
It's hard to get embarrassed.
Yeah.
Embarrassing.
I think you getting out the tent is quite an embarrassing photo.
Oh yeah. Let me grab that.
Hang on, what?
Where you look like a turtle. A turtle.
Oh yeah. That's not
one.
embarrassed. I'm not embarrassed about that. I'm not a morning person. That's what it boils down to.
Just zooming in on that one.
Yeah.
Episode last week, I believe you were talking about wearing tights to keep yourself warm. What denier tights do you wear? Did your wife help you pick them or help you show how to put them on? What fitness do you go for?
So I'll be honest with you. I went in the shop and just went up to the row of tights and just went, they look like they'll fit. I don't know what size you meant to buy tights.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah, it definitely went like tights under your trousers, like for keeping yourself warm.
No, I meant the thickness of the tight.
Yeah, denier.
There was thickness.
50 is the call it is like opaque. I've googled today, and on Amazon for £15 you can get 2 pairs of 400 denier tights. So it'll be really thick. I mean, I've done Sterling England versus Scotland, and I've worn tights underneath kit before. One piece of advice for you, because there's nothing wrong with wearing tights to keep you warm, men, women. Take them out of the packet, but wash them, because you don't know what the factories have been washing the tights in. So for men, you don't want to be getting sore or rashes around your nuts or thrush, things like that. Then give them a good old stretch, waistband, legs, put your arm in to stretch them out as well, because you find that when you put one leg on, you think, oh yeah, that's comfy, go to put the other leg on, it's twisted, or you got to put it on, and you know that like stitching around the toe might end up going that way as well. So, but yeah, give them a good old stretch. I suggest large, simply for the length, because if you're buying small, you'll find that they're shorter in length. But yeah, look on Amazon, and I mean, I didn't even realise you could get 400 denier. I've worn like 40 denier, which are fairly thick. Sometimes I've worn 2 pairs, but get a thicker denier and you'll be absolutely fine.
Surely at 400, that's just a legging. At that
Almost,
point.
almost, yeah. But apparently,
I don't know the difference between leggings and tights. Are they not the same thing?
Well, no, leggings are like
feet.
a thick.
Leggings are cotton. Yeah.
I'll be honest. I literally went in, grabbed a packet. You said wash them. The first thing I did was put them over my head and ran around the house pretending to be a bank robber. So yeah.
Yeah.
I just love the fact we've all had an in-depth lesson on how to wear tights now.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what.
No,
Actually,
that does-
I will get.
no, yeah.
I'll get the guys some pairs, and we'll do that on our 24-hour show.
Yeah, we'll do that on the 24
Andy's told me I have a segment, so that can be part of my segment.
How to put on tights. Although we did have on last week's episode, it came up in conversation about wearing, what was it, skin-coloured leggings with tights over the top. What's the benefit to that?
No.
There isn't.
Right, there you go, Lance. Lance, that's answered for you, mate. It came up in conversation that apparently Lance had seen people wear skin-coloured leggings and then put tights over the top. So it was like...
That tight.
Can I just say, I'm glad that you both had the exact same reaction that I had, because I was sitting there on the show going, this is just redundancy for no reason. And they were both like, no, it makes perfect sense. I was like, I don't think it does, but we'll go with it.
The only thing I can think of is if you don't want to shave your legs, then you're getting away with it by wearing skin tight leggings to make it look like your legs, and then you put your tights on. But I have no idea.
Oh, there you go, Lance. Hope that helped.
Too tight around your manhood, get some thick stockings. Just a thought.
A hole.
There you go. It's taken about an hour and we finally got to discussing.
Yeah.
She's been
It doesn't take us
all
long.
day wanting to talk about tights. We've had quite a few comments about tights, funny enough.
I bet you have.
Lance has said that apparently you're all going to wear them on the 24-hour show and judge the best fit and comfort.
Yep.
Right,
So, yeah. Philip put, lol, the percentage of creepy camo wearing guys hanging around ladies' underwear section just went up.
Right, hang on. I wasn't hanging around. I walked straight in the shop, identified where the tights were, picked them up, went to the till. Probably felt a little bit embarrassed then, to be fair, and then left the shop, just to clarify.
And Lance has put, apparently you wear skin colour leggings and then tights so it keeps you warmer in the winter. Well, you just wear thicker tights, wouldn't you?
Just thicker tight, lad. Shut up.
And why does it have to be skin colour leggings? Oh,
You're going to live in the houses to show you skin colour leggings. Can Lance understand me, by the way? Has he got a translator? Has he got the...
yeah, he's got subtitles on.
Yeah, cheeky.
That's one thing that I do like about your podcast. I don't know if you've done that on purpose, but on Facebook it always comes up with subtitles.
so because I'm partially deaf, I always make sure they're on because I know how much I benefit from having them on. So yeah, that was my
Lovely.
OTT on that one.
No, that's fine. It just helps us understand Alex, really.
Do you know what, how long have we been talking, Alex? Nearly 2 years? No, not tonight.
Look at me watch.
Ooh, it's about 463 hours.
Yeah.
My brain's not working because of the math, though. You guys know what this is like.
Lance
To be
has put,
fair,
Alex,
it's not proper man flu because you're not curled up asleep.
Great, I've got me dressing for you. I want to wear it.
Lance has put, Alex's mic is just noise. Okay. Oh, we haven't got any more questions. Oh, I thought we had another question left. Maybe not.
I had one. If you won the lottery, and you know all of your mates have a favourite gun that they're after if they had the money, would you buy your friends their favourite guns, the ones that they wanted the most, and give it to them? Or would you buy all the mates' guns that they most wanted and keep it for yourself?
I'd just buy my mates.
What, and then keep them?
Then just keep them.
What have you done?
Cages, like a zoo.
Okay.
I don't know. Yeah, I probably would. I'd probably treat everyone to a little pew pew.
Mm-hmm.
I would do the same. I think if those are the two options, then I would do the same. If it wasn't limited to those two options, I wouldn't do either. I'd buy armoured personnel carriers so that I can transport all my mates around the site, and then we can have like turrets and stuff like that. That'd be cool.
Is there any? Sorry, I was going to say, is there any other countries that you want to go do milsims?
Yes, the US, and I really want us to try and get a group together to go and do Border Wars. I'd love to go and do that. Yeah,
I'm the same. I'm a little bit more hesitant to do Border Wars at the moment because there are actual border wars in that end of Europe, and I don't want to get involved in anything like that. But milsim in the US just looks epic, especially sort of California and sort of Arizona and stuff like that. There's some quite good places in Spain. Yeah.
Actually, I'd probably like to go and get in contact with Hades Airsoft and go and play one of his games over on the islands.
Oh yeah, Gran Canaria. I want to go there.
Yeah. I think that'd be.
After us.
I'd end up dying, but yeah. I think that'd be a really fun one to go and do actually. And Milsim West. I think before my airsoft career, if you want to call it, comes to an end, I'd like to go and do at least one Milsim West.
Nice. So we normally on our podcast cover kit find of the pod. So we asked you guys for your recommendations, and I don't know which one of you wants to go first regarding
Which one?
kit find.
Well, it might go first because he got in there first.
I can go first. So I have a Snug Pack jungle blanket. I've even brought one as a show and tell. This is basically a blanket in the form of sleeping bag sort of style material. It's all polyester. They also have a antimicrobial lining. And if you do any milsim, take a blanket or a wubby or something like that. A wool blanket. Just something that you can use as a layer like that. Firstly, you can use it as a layer on the ground if you absolutely need to. For whatever reason, you can use it as a stretcher if you absolutely had to. You can use it to keep yourself warm. You can throw it in a sleeping bag to add another layer of protection in a sleeping bag. You can be sitting around the campfire and you have it over you. There is nothing better than having a blanket.
Yeah.
I know it's not very exciting. I really like the Snug Pack one, so I've tried a few of the Miltech wubbies and bits and pieces like that, and I love a Miltech wubby. I've got them dotted around my house. I've got them in my wife's car, in my car, and my mum and dad's house, and I gift them to random people as well. But the Snug Pack jungle blankets, they come in sort of OD and black. They compress a lot smaller than the wubbies.
Now.
Oh, they've got a multicam one. Yeah. Oh, I might have one of them by the end of the evening. They compress a lot smaller. They're a lot bigger than the sort of standard wubby size as well, so you get more for your volume. And they just, I always go to a milsim with it. I don't always use it, but I've always got one with me. You can just throw it over your shoulders if you get a bit cold. If you're on stag duty, which for those that don't know is when you're basically standing there at 2 a.m. guarding your camp from potentially a non-existent enemy. You can just throw it over you. They're just great. You can also, if another example, if you're undertaking light discipline on an event. So, for example, you're patrolling through some woods and you don't want to sort of give away your position. Again, you can throw it over you. You can do map reading under it, anything like that. So there's a lot of versatile uses for it, basically. So yeah.
Good. And I did share everyone
100% agree.
them on Amazon as well. So yeah.
Yeah.
What about you, Andy?
So my kit find is the OpsCore mini chest rig. Well, it's not a rig, it's harness. I find it really helpful because I do run multiple loadouts. I've also linked it in with my plate carrier. So my setup for my chest rig and my plate carrier are exactly the same. all I have to do is remove the front panel and stick it on, and that's it, job done. If you're running multiple weapons, so if you've got shotguns, pistols, 7.62, 5.56 mags, you can just literally rip off the panel and have your other panel ready to go. Especially for skirmishing, if you've got a weapon that goes down, and if you've got your front panel already made up, you can literally just throw it on and you're done in seconds.
That sounds
So yeah, they have gone up in price annoyingly, because I was going to get another one. They've gone up by like 20 quid, but then so's everything at the moment, hasn't it? So but yeah, highly recommend them, especially if you run a Velcro panel on the front of your plate carrier and looking to have a chest rig. Have a look at one of these, because you can literally swap between the two.
nice.
And that would be my
That's pretty much the crux of our podcast, by the way. We talk for everything from actual tactical gear to blankets and socks and stuff like that. So,
and string. We talk a lot about string and what's the other ones? Trips and mines.
You told me I wasn't allowed to talk about the string.
You weren't. I am.
Okay, so the other part of the show that we like to cover is the female airsofter of the show. And this is just a little section where we put out on our socials to give recommendations of any member female airsoft player that you know does a really good job on the field, or is brand new to airsoft and is just doing a really good job getting stuck in. Or just generally someone you want to nominate and think deserves a bit of recognition. So this week we were nominating, or the person nominated was Airsoft Cat. So this is Caitlin. Caitlin, she mainly plays at Driverwood, I think. So she's also part of the Krios photography team as well. I've met her a few times. She's really nice. Alex, you've played alongside of her, haven't you?
Yeah, it was against her at the AI 500. Yeah, lovely laugh. So well done, Kate.
Yeah, well done, Caitlin, definitely. Love it. So yeah, make sure you keep an eye out before our next podcast. We'll be asking for more recommendations for who you think just deserves a little shout out, basically. I'll be
honest, I had a mad panic that I'd forgotten you did that, and I was like, when you were talking about recommendations, I was like, oh god, I've got to come up with some now. Well, there's Alex, there's Drew.
put in like us four who do UKAL aside. Have you like played alongside any female players who you actually thought did a really good job, like they sort of stood out from the crowd?
I have. Yeah, there's some good female players up at Rift Airsoft, and they're quite regulars to that. There's one girl that I can't even keep up with. Like, as soon as that whistle goes, she's gone, and whatever. I'm just going to plod behind this fat idiot trying to play airsoft, and she's off. And she's got like 15, 20 kills, and then she gets hit, and I'm still walking up before. Oh no! When she's on her way back, I'm like, oh, okay. But yeah, I've played her loads of times, but never caught her name because she doesn't sit still.
That's a fair excuse. I'll give you that. We have a
Rift Airsoft actually have quite a large female presence at their sites. I think they've probably got about 10 female players there now that turn up regularly, which is really nice to see.
I think it gets mentioned in the group quite a bit about Rift, and people try and recommend, or the girls try and recommend more players to go.
It's the same with the Dirty Dogs. There's about 15 of us that are regular. There could be even more than that now that go there. So it is nice to see.
Yeah, and I think UKAL have had a lot to do with that as well. Like genuinely, I think since you've started becoming more of a face for female players, I I think it's definitely got more and more popular within the UK for females to come along. And it's really good to see that everyone can enjoy the hobby. And I think that is quite largely down to you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I think some people get us like a bit mixed up in terms of what we wanted UKAL to be. Like some people think, oh, you just want to make sure you're treated differently and all that sort of thing. And it wasn't ever about that when we set it up. It was about just getting it out there that females can play it as well, and giving other females the confidence to give it a go at least. As I say, we've got members who aren't even part of the group, and they just sort of keep their head down quietly, but because they're aware of our presence, they feel a lot more confident to go out there and give it a go and play and that sort of thing. So yeah, as I say, that I think that was the aim. That was the aim for UKAL. So it's good that it's actually worked.
Yeah, no, it's nice, and we're getting more and more. Yeah, we're getting more and more females into the milsim scene as well.
Yeah.
So hopefully, at the end of the day, everyone is the future of this hobby. Male, female, other genders that you wish to be described as. You're all you're all the future of the hobby. So yeah, I think as long as everyone can carry on with what we're doing, I think the hobby's going to last.
Definitely. So we've had a couple of comments. So Sarah, who normally joins us, she's asked, "What's the weirdest thing you've ever seen someone cook during a milsim?"
I'm going to go first with this one. So my first ever milsim with Mike and Lance. I was all ready. I had my ration pack. I was all ready to start cooking out in the field. Then all of a sudden, this skillet comes out. It's massive barbecue, 3 stonking great big steaks. Lance is sitting there whisking up this gourmet salad while Mike's sitting there turning the 3 and I'm sitting there going, how the hell is this milsim? and literally, that's probably the best meal that I've had for a long time as well.
The event hadn't started yet. The weirdest thing I've seen someone cook was a tin of mackerel, which it just stank. It was like mackerel in a tomato sauce. However, that's not the best one I'd like to talk about, if I may. It was an event I wasn't actually attending. To steal Lance's story, but it was a Vietnam-based event, and there was a guy that rocked up who was just there to cook. He was running the kind of the chef's bit for the US side. Lance was the commanding officer, so he got commanding officer treatment. So he was sort of given a full platter of food and sort of looked after in that sort of way. But one of the funniest things from that story I always remember is that apparently a firefight kicked off and he's busy peeling potatoes, and he just sort of got faster so that he could kind of get the potatoes done before he could then jump up and sort of fight back. So yeah.
Wow, that does sound quite intense. To be fair, so stupid question, obviously I've not done a milsim before. What are the rules in terms of food? Does it have to be like ration pack type thing?
As much as you can. I'm taking tins of baked beans, macaroni and cheese in the tin, Haribo sweets, Red Bull, got me coffee, my milk. Literally, I mean, at off Irene, there's a guy there called James. He had a little stove. He had a wok. You know what I said? He was tossing his wok. He was cooking 2 in the wok. So you can say anything you can cook in campus. Just take it with you.
So we've done 2 or 3 episodes on this now.
Have an egg sandwich for the weekend,
yeah.
or a bacon sandwich.
So we've done 2 or 3 episodes on this now, and I think one of them we ended up making our own ration packs. So I think we gave ourselves a limit of, was it 5 or 10? Did we go expensive?
I think it was a £10.
I think it was a £10 one, and for 24 hours. And you'll be surprised how much food you can get for £10 for 24 hours. So you don't need to spend money on ration packs. Yeah, it's a good fun to try a ration pack now and again, but you don't need to. Lance is a carnivore. Lance is going to build his own carnivore ration pack, as it were, for his dietary needs. So it can be done. I know guys that are vegan, and they make their own ration packs. So yeah, as long as it's not going to be too heavy and you've got somewhere to store it and you're not having to carry it around.
Yeah, so it depends on the event. If you're camping out in a building and you've got like a pelly case that you kind of stored everything in, or you're able to effectively dump it out your car straight into where you're bedding down, then you go wild. You can pretty much have whatever you like. If you want to have a full-on barbecue and steaks and a cooler and all of that, then you go for it. The only reason I think that you'll see a lot of meal simmers working out of ration packs is for events where you have to tab in to the game. You're living out of your Bergen. Cans and things like that, there's a lot of wasted material in the packaging. It's bulky, you can't flex it in any way. Ration packs are designed as high-calorie meals, so for a smaller amount of food, you're getting potentially more calories out of what you're eating. They are not that bad, really. It depends on which ones you have. Some of them are pretty ropey, but I mean, some of the US ones, they're pretty tasty. Like I've had one the other day, which was like a Moroccan bean chili. And the other thing is, ultimately, you don't have to have an actual ration pack, but you can go down the camping shop and you can buy some like the millets meals and things like that, which are just boil in the bag meals. You don't have to deal with any of the messy cooking or anything like that. If you've got a jet boil, or even a much cheaper, like a little Van Gogh cooker, gas cooker, something like that. Or, to be fair, if it's your first one, just whack it in someone else's, because they won't mind. You can just boil the food in a bag, so it's just reducing that cleanup, and you can kind of focus more on the event, and you're not sitting there going, oh, right, okay, I've got to wash my pot up now, and things like that. So you don't need to go down that route, but I would suggest that it's possibly worthwhile, because you'll probably find your admin easier to manage when you're there. Because ultimately, when you're done, you can just screw the bag up and chuck it in a little Ziploc bag, and then that's your bin bag sorted, basically. Whereas cans and things like that, it's hard to deal with that afterwards.
Yeah. No, that's good advice, that definitely. Let's say I sound a bit... Felt like a bit of a stupid question.
Some of them are pretty bad.
Yeah, some of them are vile.
So, I just want to say thank you for everyone for tuning in this evening. Yeah, basically, don't forget that NoFo have their charity episode even. 2nd and 3rd of December. 24-hour episode raising money for Jigsaw charity. So try and tune in, keep the guys awake, and donate, obviously. So yeah, good luck with that one, guys.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for coming on the show as well. We really appreciate it. We hope you've enjoyed.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you for having us. It was nice. We went.
Another podcast.
Yeah. It was nice. I was told to be on good behaviour, and I hope that I have been. So, yeah.
No, you've both been great. We really appreciate it. So thank you very much.
Oh, lovely. Thank you very much for having us on. And good luck with the next episodes and where your podcast is going. Looking forward to more.
Thank you very much.
String's always a good topic. Just.
Yeah.
We'll keep that in mind. So yeah, just to let people know, Pod 5 will be on Tuesday the 5th December. That'll be a little special episode with a little surprise in store due to one of our hosts. So yeah, make sure you tune in for that one for sure. So, yep, thank you everyone for watching, and we will catch you then. See you later.
Thanks very much. Bye guys.